Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, I would like to acknowledge and thank the AAAS and the Lemelson Foundation for having me here. I think this is a tremendous opportunity, and I feel privileged. We're going to talk, and the title is From the Left Hand to the Right Solution. Let's start by saying this. When you're an inventor, it's like Lady Gaga's song. You're born this way, and I was born this way, okay? Unashamed, okay? Little kid right there, that's me. And I'm extremely happy, and I've always been fascinated with the prospect of invention since I was a little kid, a baby. I was always dreaming, and I was always dreaming that I could do something big for the world. It was like a fantasy of mine that I've carried with me throughout my entire life. That's one thing. So as I grew older, I realized that you can turn challenges into something good. So this is what happened with me when I was a little kid. We lived in a street that was a busy street, so that meant just one thing. My parents wouldn't let me go out. But what happened? I had a house full of books. So what did I do? I turned to reading, browsed through encyclopedias, browsed through magazines, and I also became an avid watcher of the Discovery Channel. Okay, so the thing is that it was like the holy grail for me because I loved it. Okay, and one of the things that I did is that remember this program called Beyond 2000? Well, right now we're way beyond 2000, but back in the 1980s we were not. So for me, I've been a futurist all my life. I've always been fascinated with the prospects of what the future might hold for us. And one of the things that I learned was that there's such a thing called magnetic levitation. Jeez, I love that because magnetism was this kind of force that could make you push apart or pull towards you something without physical contact. That was like magic for me. So that was ingrained in my brain. As I grew up, I realized that I began, concocting like these silly inventions, okay? And my first silly invention was trying to solve this huge problem that I had. Bikes and motorcycles did not have two-wheel drive, okay? So what did I do to do that? So I applied what the Maglev principle was for that, and that was sketching these Maglev tires on a bike. And that says that, you have this track that's now round, and what used to be a train, now it's a continuous tire, and you could brake and you could accelerate magnetically. And that was super cool. But then I went into college, and of course, my wife is here, so all the respect for her, but I wanted to impress the ladies, okay? I was going to the club scenes and everything, and I was still silly back then. One of the things that I did is that I realized this huge problem of glasses falling from bars and tables. So I said, you know what? What if you could do glasses that wouldn't fall? So my solution, my grand solution, was this, let's develop some maglev suspending wine glasses that will basically, when you power those electromagnets up, it's basically kept into a circle, they levitate, and then after they levitate, when you power them down, they just float down. Okay, and it was great. But you know what? Do I need maglev? Of course I do. But do I really need it? No. Okay, but then what happened? I kept going, so I get into med school. And I decided that I want to be a neurosurgeon, so for that, I got to do my surgical internship. So I become a surgical intern with this added benefit that I am left-handed. Okay, and everybody that's left-handed here, please raise your arms. Good, great. So what happened with, as in many aspects of life, when you have a lot of handiwork and a lot of instruments, okay, being left-handed is not necessarily something that's comfortable, so you have to adapt. And this thing is basically a needle driver or something like that. And for right-handed people, it was excellent because you could just push the shanks apart by just a movement of the palm of your hand. But for me, I actually pushed them together. So it was not, I had to adapt. But that per se gave me a huge insight into the suturing process and made me analyze every step. So I became keenly aware of what I needed. So I realized that suturing is something that could be improved like any other process. And I began thinking. I realized that I have recognized a need to improve the suturing process. So my first designs, and this is exactly how it was. I always compared them to transformers because they had so many components and I knew they wouldn't work out. So I knew that there had to be something simpler. One day, after I was finishing a long, cold night, already a neurosurgery resident, I went for sushi. By God, that was the best sushi in the world, okay? And I literally ate my last grain of rice. And that's where the magic happened. I picked up that grain of rice, okay, with a lot of precision, and the chopsticks were round in cross-section, and I knew that I could put a lot of pressure and I could manipulate that grain of rice so well that I went on my eureka moment from sushi to sushering. Okay? And the reason was that I could take, instead of 2 flat surfaces as before, I could take these 2 rollers and I could make a discontinuous process of grabbing the needle, pushing it, then letting it go, grabbing it back, and pushing it again. I could make it into a continuous process, and I could do that by just changing the anatomy of the graspers, okay? And now it was just one single continuous step, and I rolled that needle through the tissues like a paper rolling through the rolls of a printer. So I said, you know what? This is amazing. I've got it. So I am, as you can see, very passionate about what I do, and I went right for it. So I was still a resident. I had a month's salary. I basically got that month's salary and committed this to that. I got a loan, maxed my credit card, spent a month without money, which was a very good excuse to lose weight, okay? And then I filed my first patent. And I got to say, that patent was my best feeling ever. And you know why? Because a patent is something that you created out of your own dreams, and you crystallize those into something that's real, and now it's your contribution to society. So I created my own company, which is a think tank called Brainvent, for obvious reasons, okay? And then I realized that there was a long road ahead of me. A patent was never enough. I had to deal with prototyping. I had to know if I have to make more prototypes, more patents, where to go to, okay? And I literally broke the bank. All my savings, all my disposable income. Skin in the game, I had no skin. Everything was right there. Okay? So I knew I could go at it alone. I needed the know-how. I needed some collaboration. I needed people, skills that complement mine. Okay? And I didn't know where to go, what to go next. I also realized that as a scientist, I gathered scientific evidence that miracles do exist. Because my wife, that's with me right here, hasn't divorced me yet. Okay? So she's here with me. But the thing is that we have now one technology, which is a core technology, which are the rollers. We have now different applications, multiple applications, because it's a very versatile technology. We can use low-cost disposable devices. We can do devices for open surgery. We can do devices for minimally invasive surgery, laparoscopic surgery. We can even do robotic surgery based out of the same core technology. We can do multiplanar suturing. We can even do automatic suturing, which means that with a click of a lever, basically you can complete the suturing process in one single step, and others that I cannot talk about, but are geared toward the cardiovascular space, okay? And because there are also many applications, there are also many potential users. So this can be used by any surgeon, OBGYN. This can be used by any other doctor. So this can be taken out of the OR and into the ER, into the field, outside, okay? It can be used by nurses, it can be used by PAs, even EMTs. Most importantly, this can be used by combat personnel. This can be used for automated suturing in the field, for combat medicine, okay? And for disaster medicine situations. And because this can automate suturing, it can also mean that you can put this in the hands of people that may not be trained surgeons, but may be the only personnel available for a lot of patients in a lot of rural areas and even countries where there are no trained surgeons available for many miles or for many days. It can be used too, okay? But you know, why is all this fancy thing important? Well, this is important because even if you go to economics, any hour minute will cost around $15 to $20 per minute, even for a basic procedure. More complex procedures will definitely cost way more. And if you go to what the hospitals charge for this, it's about $62 average per minute that they charge. Okay, so the amount of cost is huge. So even if you save a couple of minutes per procedure, that amounts to basically hundreds of millions or even billions of dollars, okay, in savings, in just 1 year. So imagine the scale of this, because you have tens of millions of procedures done a year in the US alone. But it's not only in the US. Worldwide, we have a lot of procedures that haven't been done. We have a deficit of about 140 million procedures and surgeries that could be done, and the reason for not being done is because we have lack of access of trained surgeons, lack of access to affordable medical technology. So putting something that simplifies suturing and that is affordable enough in the hands of people that may be the only caregivers available to a population might definitely mean the difference between doing a basic procedure or not, and that might even be the difference between life and death in some cases, okay? So after all of this journey, what does it all mean to me? Well, for me, this is a very personal and proud journey because this, as easy as 1, 2, 3, what guiding principle, and that is that you relentlessly pursue your dreams and your life purpose as an agent of positive change to others. That's what drives me, okay? Second, okay, we have 2 statements that for me make everything happen, and one, and it's going back to all this perseverance and this dream that I had as a kid, and it's that the future is born from those who dare to dream and persevere, and we are here because we persevere, okay? And with that statement goes my third statement, which is that it's true. If necessity is the mother of invention, then persistence is definitely the mother of success, okay? That's very important. And above 1 and 2, there's always 3, and 3 is the most important thing because these are my 3 reasons for living, okay? And same for everybody that has family, so we're doing this not only for my family, but for everybody else. Okay, so thank you very much for your attention.